Hollow Knight is one of the most beautiful games I've ever played, and it's for many different reasons. But one of the biggest is its non-linearity and the choices that it gives you, the way that you can explore the world any way you want, how the world doesn't feel like it was rigged in your favor. It feels like the world you are exploring has existed long before you came, which it has, and it also feels like it will exist long after you leave. So maybe you can try and make a difference while you're still here. The character that we play as in Hollow Knight does not have a gender. They never say a single word. They don't show any emotion because they're not supposed to. They're simply a hollow vessel. Yet throughout the game, we slowly see what could be feelings, emotions, or wants. We don't have any reason to go the places we go as the player, outside of just wanting to go there because we know that there will probably be something to explore there, because, well, it's a video game. And our main character that we play as, the knight, doesn't know where they're going either. Do they have some sort of motivation? Possibly, but that motivation is not made clear till the end of the game. And we don't even know if they truly have motivation. The player explores the world of Hollow Knight because it wants to. The player explores the world of Hollow Knight because it's beautiful and they want to know more about the world. They want to help its inhabitants in the Dying Kingdom, and not because there's going to be any reward. Within the first 15 minutes of Silksong, we have an NPC that tells us where to go, an objective tracker in our menu that tells us what to do, and as well a map icon that tells us where exactly on the map we need to be. Now, this is honestly fine. It helps you know where to go, obviously, and players might not want to spend hours and hours navigating around a sprawling and huge world just to go die to a boss 50 times. I understand, and I definitely like that Silksong is more approachable when it comes to the navigation, because these are Metroidvanias with big worlds, and they can be difficult to explore, and also difficult to actually play and get through. So I like that Silksong tries to make that aspect more approachable. However, it does come with the sacrifice of losing some of the magic that Hollow Knight originally gave me when I first played. Hollow Knight itself is also just a really magical experience because of its atmosphere. It's a beautiful game. So, I'll just give you a moment to sit with this. Let's take a moment to talk about Hollow Knight's map and the different ways and routes you can take to progress through the game. Now, in Hollow Knight, we have a main objective of defeating the three Dreamers to ultimately defeat the Hollow Knight. We don't really know that that's our objective, to defeat the Hollow Knight per se, and we also don't really know exactly what the Dreamers are. We're not told to go find the Dreamers necessarily outside of some cryptic dialogue, but in order to get to the final boss of the game and to get an ending, there are a lot of different ways that you can progress. Since it's a Metroidvania, one of the main ways that you progress is through going to an area, defeating bosses, and getting movement abilities. For example, you need the Crystal Dash ability to beat the game. So, how do you get it? Well, there are two different ways you can get it, actually. The first way is by going to Sly and buying the Lumify Lantern from him. Then you can use that, trek through the crossroads, and open up the gateway toll to get to the area. But there's actually another way. After getting the City Crest from defeating the False Knight in Crossroads, who's the first boss of the game, you can go through to the Fungal Wastes, into the City of Tears, and then into a sub-area called the Soul Sanctum, where you can defeat the Soul Master to get the Desolate Dive, which then allows you to break the unstable ground in the Crossroads and enter the Crystal Peak through there. This is a prime example of how you can go to the City of Tears and to the Soul Sanctum to get to the Crystal Peak, or you can entirely skip the City of Tears and Soul Sanctum and never see it before getting to Crystal Peak, although you will have to go to the City of Tears later in the game for other stuff. I remember when I first played through Hollow Knight, I had two of my other closest friends also playing through it at the same time. And, you know, we would all chat, share secrets with each other, and try not to spoil too much. However, it was really interesting to discuss how we got to different areas. I was the farthest in the game out of the group, and I got to the Queen's Gardens area, decided to keep exploring, and ultimately found the distant village, where I was able to get one of the 3 Dreamers. However, my other friend had then beat the game, and had never been to the Queen's Gardens, an area I thought was essential to beating the game because you had to get to the distant village from there. However, he actually used a different route unlocked much earlier in the game, because after you beat the Mantis Lords, they open up Deep Nest to you. I had beaten the Mantis Lords, entered Deep Nest a little bit, and then chickened out, and I didn't actually make the connection that Distant Village was part of Deep Nest, since it had a completely different name on the map as a sub-area. And it was really cool to see how we had both beaten the game, and an area that I thought was essential had just been completely skipped by another friend who was not trying to sequence break or do any skips or speedrun or anything. He was just doing a normal playthrough and completely missed an area until he went back after completing the game to go explore and get the rest of the upgrades and items. Hollow Knight is one of the best games that I have ever played, and I would easily put it in my top 5. Its sprawling, interconnected world that let you explore it any way you wanted was such a cool experience, and I cherish the first playthrough I had of the game so deeply. It's such a magical game, and it was my first Metroidvania, and such a special one at that. So I just have one more thing to say, and that's thank you. Thank you, viewer, for watching this video. I hope that you liked it, and if you want to see more, subscribe, and maybe go check out some of my other content. My last video hit over 450 views, which is just insane. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but for me, who made his first Hollow Knight video, and for it to get almost 500 views, I mean, that's just amazing. So thank you so much. But I also want to say thank you to Team Cherry for making such an incredible game and an experience that will be with me for the rest of my life. It truly is special. You've inspired so many other people to make Metroidvanias. You've inspired so many other people to create, and you've made something truly incredible that I just can't get enough of. So, release Sea of Sorrow, and thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you, Team Cherry. I don't know what else to say, but Hollow Knight is just such a special game that, like, even after I was done playing it, stuck with me for so long, and then at an awful time in my life where I hated, going and waking up every morning, and I didn't really look forward to anything. I would look forward to getting home and playing Hollow Knight. And if you can create that for somebody, that's just something really special. So thank you.